You're listening to the Otasso Outdoors Podcast.
It's not often my voice sounds that good on the doo-doos.
It's not often we hear the doo-doos coming out.
You guys know when Caleb does the doo-doos, there's only two of us in the pod bunker. Welcome back to the Otasso Outdoors, everybody. I'm Caleb. I'm your host. I'm joined by one of my co-hosts this evening, Hunter Grishke.
Howdy.
My voice sounds pretty good right now. It's because I have the contents of the entire woods in my nose. So here at Otasso HQ, we knew since last year we have a 3D archery course that has been developing over the last year or so and has grown in size. We actually haven't shot it quite yet, but we are in the final phases before getting it set in motion. We've got all the trails cut and weed whacked and blown off in between the targets. So hopefully by the end of this week or next week, we will be all systems go on getting that. So that being said, if you are a special guest, you got some cool stories, you're involved in the outdoors industry, and you want to come out here to the pod bunker for an episode, shoot us a message on Instagram at otasso.outfitters. We'd love to chat with you, kind of hear more about who you are, and then see if that would be a good fit for you to come out here to HQ. That being said, if you are tuning into the show for the first time, you are likely to find one of three segments. Segment number one is What You Got Buddy. That is where we will bring headlines and articles and we'll read them and discuss them at length amongst each other. They're a fun time. We try to do those as many as we can. They can be as short as 40 minutes or as long as an hour or so. Segment number two
is our Spotlight series, where we have amazing guests on, learn all about them, have great discussions, go down deep rabbit holes on many topics, and just have a great time together.
Segment number three is our head-to-head. That's where we bring questions. It's our trivia game show, and the members of the pod bunker battle it out to be crowned winner of that round of head-to-head. Well, you guys clicked on it today, so you know what it is. Today we have What You Got Buddy, Hunter and Caleb edition. Woo!
Love it.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll start it off.
All right.
I'll let it rip.
Hunter, what you got, buddy?
All right. So this one's pretty good. Let's see here. Kalkaska men arraigned, accused of torturing animals and illegal hunting. So this just happened. This was on May 10th. So very recent. It is quite a long article, so I'm just going to take snippets here.
Hit the spark notes.
Nicholas Padnode, 19, and Xander Garrett, 20.
Well,
so
I recognize the last name, Padno.
Do you?
How do you spell that?
Patnode.
Maybe not. Continue.
Very young gentlemen.
Did it say how old?
19 and 20.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, yikes. They were arraigned Monday in Kalkaska County for multiple wildlife violations that took place throughout Kalkaska in October and November of 22. Michigan Department of Natural Resources began a complex investigation in 2022 after receiving a couple tips through the poaching hotline. Shout out to those people because they probably wouldn't have been caught without it. Who knows? Conservation officers discovered a group of individuals who had committed multiple wildlife crimes, including several counts of shooting deer from a motor vehicle, game tagging violations, and animal cruelty charges. The Kalkaska men are believed to have illegally killed at least 6 deer, including a 9-point buck shot from the window of a truck. They are also accused of inhumanely killing a porcupine. I'm going to skip that part. Bunch of dialogue here from some officers.
If Reed was here, he'd be justifying the porcupine bit.
He probably would be trying to justify it. Well, you know, there's some cases. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to read some charges off here. Pad Node, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. He's got 11 charges. The first is 2 counts of killing, torturing animals, a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 4 years in jail and or $5,000 in fines. 6 counts of wildlife conservation violation, general violations. Each is a misdemeanor, punishable up to 90 days in jail per count and or $500 each. 1 count of hunting and fishing license violation, using another license, a misdemeanor that carries a punishment of up to 90 days in jail or up to $250 in fines. 1 count of wildlife conservation violation, taking game from a vehicle, misdemeanor, punishable up to 90 days, $500 in fines. And then 1 count of wildlife conservation violation, possessing a bow or crossbow. It's probably a crossbow.
Likely.
It's very likely.
Count one boys are safe.
Yeah. In a vehicle operated on public lands or roads, same thing, 90 days in jail or up to $500.
Would that be like out of the case?
I would assume so.
Because I learned that for the first time, like last year, that you cannot have an open bow like out of the case in your in your back seat. Reed taught me that.
Huh.
Yeah. If you guys know like the correct answer to that, chime in and kind of verify that is true. Because the amount of times I'd like jump in, because I keep my bow out here because we hunt here. But then if I want to zip down to, Mason to hunt.
Just chuck it in.
Yeah, I just put the quiver on it and toss it in the front seat and zip down. But allegedly, the DNR treats that just like you would a rifle.
Yep.
It needs to be in your case.
It has to be in a case.
So I didn't know that.
Yep, definitely.
So maybe
case.
Maybe that's what he got. What was did they go into any detail on the animal cruelty? Like,
nope, they didn't. I'm sure for various reasons they didn't, but
even just that, you got to be in a real dumbass spot to kill a deer or anything out of a truck, because it's just, I don't know.
I don't know either. And I mean, I was gonna say they were probably on private property, but they weren't. They were actually on public. It looks like.
Even worse.
Even worse. So another reason, why they got caught. Thankfully, they got caught. But that's showing Garrett's charges here, and he actually got less charges than the Pad Node dude. His charges were 1 count of killing, torturing animals, 1 count of wildlife conservation violation, taking game from a vehicle, and then 1 count of wildlife conservation violation, possessing a bow or crossbow in a vehicle.
Yeah, these guys look like the kind of these are the kind
of them.
Yeah,
just dinguses.
Yeah, these are just look like dumb rednecks. I mean, nothing against rednecks. We're kind of rednecks-ish, but honestly, it looks like the kind
ones
of
that make
person
bad choices.
It's just like, why?
Yeah.
I was just trying to dig to see if I can find anything on the porcupine. Every word that I'm reading just says that it was inhumanely killing my how do you get caught for that in the first place would be my question. I understand the using somebody else's license. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
That's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I don't know why people even flirt with that.
I don't either. I don't want to say a lot of people do it, but I think a lot of people do it because...
Especially with do you think the youth hunt?
Youth hunt. Oh. That's where it happens a lot. And
man, that bums me out.
I don't know if people just don't understand the law behind it, that you can't do it, but it's a big one.
I feel like that's common knowledge of like your tag is tied to your name and your driver's license number.
Yep.
You can't shoot your deer and then shoot somebody else's deer and put their tag on it. You can't go get a tag in your mom's name and then put it on your deer so you can bag 2 deer.
Yep.
I think anybody who goes down that trail knows what they're doing.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, it's I don't know why. That's a great question. Why? Like it especially that young too. Now they're just ruined.
11. He's got 11 charges.
Yep.
11.
And one's a felony. So,
well, 2 counts of killing and torturing animals, which is a 3rd-degree felony punishable by 4 years in jail. So, okay, so there's 2 counts of that. So that's 8.
Counts.
So that's 8 years in jail right there. 6 counts of wildlife conservation, which is a misdemeanor of 90 days in jail. So 90 days times 6. He's going away for a while. Oh, man.
Yeah, the Garrett guy, he doesn't have very many, so it looks like he's gonna.
He
doesn't even have time.
4 years.
Garrett?
Yeah, 1 count of killing and torturing animals, and that's punishable
4 years.
for 4 years in jail.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that.
And then 90 days for that one, and 90 days. Oh man, that's just. I don't understand. I don't know. Like we've talked about guys who get busted for poaching and whatnot and things like that throughout the years, and I don't know how you get to the mental place of just I'm gonna roll the window down and start blasting deer out of my truck, or I'm gonna. The only thing that I can blame it on is just immaturity, maybe still
making really bad choices,
judging by the ages. I'd be way more disappointed. I think I'm disappointed in general, but I would be way more disappointed, I think, if it was like a 45-year-old man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you,
because those homies' frontal lobes have not developed yet.
They clearly don't have the best guidance either.
Yeah, I'd love to know what their home life is, but then again, it is Kalkaska.
Yeah,
nothing against you if you're from Kalkaska, but it is BFE.
Yeah, very.
Oof.
But yeah, that's fine. Caleb,
guys, don't do this.
What you got, buddy?
All right. On a similar note, so we talked about this one a while ago. There was this guy who submitted a record. It was like a world record whitetail in Ohio. It was massive.
Is this deer. The one where they thought he rebuilt the?
I don't think it's that one. If I show you the picture, you'll recognize it. Remember that one? We talked about. We've seen so many deer. We talked about it. It was massive, huge deer. But anyway, headline reads: 4 indicted over alleged poaching of giant buck in Clinton County, Ohio. Wilmington, Ohio. 28-year-old Wilmington, Ohio man was indicted by a grand jury, which is crazy that it got that far.
That's pretty high.
For his alleged role in poaching of an 18-point buck last November. Because we talked about it in November, December, where it was a world record deer that was killed. And then they started doing an investigation on him. An Ohio Attorney General, on behalf of the Ohio DNR, announced the indictment of Christopher J. Alexander and others allegedly involved in the case. Blinded by greed, the defendants set their sights on fame and fortune while disregarding basic hunting regulations. The indictment returned by a Clinton County grand jury accuses Alexander of unlawfully harvesting a deer on November 9th. He claimed that the animal had been on his property owned by his sister, Christina Alexander, when he harvested the deer and presented a written permission from his sister. This was the one that was killed on somebody else's property. I remember we talked about it.
Okay.
And he said it was on his sister's property, but it was actually poached off of the neighbor's property. And that was the one where we talked about the property line of hey, if there's a deer across the property line, are you going to shoot it? And we said, hell no. The investigation by the ODNR's Division of Wildlife, however, allegedly incriminating evidence to the contrary, according to the attorney statement, Wildlife officers discovered that though warranted searches of cell phone data, that Christopher Alexander had allegedly hunted the trophy buck on private property about 10 miles from his sister's land, and later learned that written permission from his sister he had presented to wildlife officers had been falsified. After the deer was killed to mislead authorities, evidence revealed Christopher Alexander's alleged staged the deer taking at his sister's property with help of Corey P. Honert and his brother Zachary R. Honert to conceal the alleged poaching. The investigation also found Corey aided Christopher Alexander in poaching the deer on multiple occasions. Oh, poaching other deer, providing the crossbow used to hunt and assisting deer retrieval and staging. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just want to get to the point. They got indicted, but I want to know what it was. Likewise, wildlife officers learned that Christopher Alexander deceptively profited from the alleged illegal deer taking, selling deer antlers and receiving payments totaling $20,000 from other antler collectors.
Goodness.
A hunting magazine and a company that sells deer products. This deer stands out as the largest typical whitetail in Ohio, showcasing remarkable antler uniformity, which would make sense why he did what he did. Christopher Alexander faces 23 total charges. 5 counts each of illegally hunting deer without written permission. 3 counts of theft. 2 counts of hunting deer without a license. 1 count each of jacklighting.
What's jacklighting?
Jacklighting, I believe, is like spotlighting.
Is it?
Maybe not. Do you want to look that up while I finish this?
Jacklighting.
Jamie, can you look that up? 8 charges for Corey. A lot of the same. Wow. Cases are being prosecuted. Indictments merely contain allegations of the defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. It was by a grand jury. Is it? What is jacklighting?
So this is interesting. You are correct. Jacklighting is spotlighting. However, there's something weird in Michigan. I don't know if you know this or not, but shining for deer is illegal throughout the entire month of November. But the rest of the year, it's allowed before 11 p.m. and after 6 a.m.
Well, yeah, to find them, but not to spotlight to shoot them.
I don't know.
Because like you've got your legal shooting light, right? So if you go on the DNR, once you've passed legal shooting light, it is illegal to kill deer.
But this is saying allowed before 11 p.m. So if it was like shooting light, why wouldn't it be like allowed before 9 p.m.?
Read that again.
This is saying illegal throughout the entire month of November. But the rest of the year, it's allowed before 11 p.m. and after 6 a.m. So that's weird to me.
Whoa.
That's weird.
So is that statement saying if you have floodlights on your box blind at 10 p.m. at night,
and it's before 11... I don't know. I'm going to have to read into that a little bit more.
Guys, chime in on the comments on this one if you know more about jacklighting in the state of Michigan. Because everything I've ever known is big no-no. Even like anything hunting, like spotlighting wise. If you're just driving around and you want to flash a light out in a field and see what's out there, that's one thing. But like using that to actually take an animal, I feel like that's perfectly fine. Unless because there was nothing in that talking about harvesting.
No.
So maybe they're saying even like using a spotlight to look for deer from midnight to 5 a.m. is illegal.
This is totally off limits.
Totally illegal altogether with.
I'm going to look into that a little bit more.
That's weird. Let's do that. We will do some digging and get back with you guys on that one. With that being said, that's all we got.
That's all we got.
Nice little quick What You Got Buddy there. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to the Atasso Outdoors podcast. We appreciate it. As always, we grow organically. So if you enjoyed this or you learned something, share the show with a friend. Pass it along to them. All of our information is in our link tree, which is tied into our Instagram, which is ataso.outfitters. That's where you can get to our website, where our merch shop is at. You can also view all these full-length videos on YouTube. They are there. And then Instagram is where we kind of chop everything up into little snippets. So if you like to consume podcasts in quick video format, you can do it over there. Outside of that, we drop episodes every Tuesday. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and stay apprised for new episodes coming down the pipeline. You guys have a great night. We will see you later. I think that broke the record for the shortest What You Got Buddy we've ever done.
I was like, holy cow, that's definitely a record.
See you guys later.